Hi friends, I'm Yakuta Karthanawala. So today we'll again continue with the next important topic of structures and very much used in our daily life for live examples. That is array within structures. Okay, we have seen previously array of structures, okay, in which we were making structure variable in the form of arrays. Now what we are going to do is we'll make structure member also as an array. Okay, how you'll do is now what I want to do is I want to store 5 marks, subject marks and calculate the total and percentage of not one student but of n number of different students. Now for storing marks, I can have structure member as M1, M2, M3, M4 or M5, means 5 different variables, and one would be of total and percent and another would be of percentage. So there will be total 7 members in my particular structure. But this is not an efficient method of doing programming. Instead that what I'll do is I'll take total percentage 2 members and the third member would be marks. And this marks would be not a simple member but it would be an array and the size of an array would be 5. By converting marks into arrays, you will have only 3 members of this particular structure instead of 7 members of the structures. Let's see how we are going to make the program of this particular topic. So first I'll make a structure student. Inside that I'll have roll number, then marks. Now you can see here marks is an array. The size of an array is 5. It's of integer data type. And then I have float, total and percentage. So you can see here there are roll number, total, percentage is a simple members of the structures and marks is an array of the structure. Now I don't want to store this value of one single student. I want to store the roll number, marks, total, percentage of many students. So for that I'll make the structure variable also as an array. So you can see here at the end I mentioned s of 10. Means I'm going to store, I can store maximum 10 student data. Each student will have its roll number, 5 subjects marks, the total and the percentage of that particular student. Arrays, so here I've used arrays twice. One as a member and another as a structure variable. So my structure variable is also an array, that is S, and my structure member, that is marks, is also an array. So this is known as arrays within structures. Now let's take values inside this particular member, structure members. So for that first, enter the value of n, enter the number of students using scanf. What I'll do is n means for how many students I want to store the data. So for that take a for loop for I equal to 0, I less than n, I plus plus. First enter the student roll number. So how you are going to enter the student roll number? My variable is structure variable is of array type. So s of I dot roll number. Use dot operator and access the member of the structure. So dot roll number. So I've got the value inside roll number. So s of I, the total is initially is equal to 0. Total is a member of a structure. The structure variable is an array. So s of I dot total equal to 0. Now take in another for loop. And this for loop would be for marks. How many marks you want to store is 5. So run the for loop for 5 times. Remember that it's an array, so the index should always start with 0. So for j equal to 0, j less than 5, j plus plus. Inside that, enter the values inside the marks member. Now how you will access marks? Using structure variable. Structure variable is again an array. So s of I is the outer for loop index and dot s of I dot marks. Marks is again an array. So marks of the index of marks would be j. S of I is my structure variable itself, which is itself an array. Dot marks. Marks is again an array and the index of marks would be j. So I'm going to store for each student. That is, if I is equal to 0, so marks will be for each student. I'll store 5 different marks. Marks of 0, marks of 1, marks of 2 and marks of 3 and so on. Okay. Similarly, for when I is equal to 1, I'll store S1. It would become S1 dot and again 5 marks of that student S1. Close the for loop. Okay, then find out whenever you are entering the value of marks, at the same time go on doing the summation also. That is, for summation we'll be using the formula sum is equal to sum plus some value. That formula we'll use to find out the sum. So that would be Here sum is our total. So S of I dot total. Total is a member of a structure. So make sure you use dot operator and access it. So S of I dot total equal to S of I dot total plus S of I dot marks of J. You are entering the different subjects marks, and at the same time we are doing the summation of all the marks also for a particular student. So we have the roll number, we have marks of each and every subjects, we have total. To find out the percentage, what we'll do is S of I dot percentage equal to S of I dot total divided by 5, because the marks is of 100 marks and there are 5 subjects, so I've divided by 5. So you can see here how I'm accessing each and every members. If it is an array, to access the members accordingly. We have declared the structure, we have made an array. The structure variable also is an array and the member is also an array. We have inputted or we have initialized each and every values. Now if you want to display it in a particular format, simply display it. So for our displaying, again we'll be taking two for loops. One would be for the number of students, that is structure variable, and another would be for marks. So for I equal to 0, I less than n, I plus plus, printf student percentage d, that is for student number 1, 2, 3, it would be displayed. So I plus 1 is my index. When I is 0, it would be displayed as 1. That is my student 1. Then printf roll number. For accessing roll number, s of I dot roll number. Now if I want to display the marks of all the students, again take a for loop. For j is equal to 0, j less than 5, j plus plus, because I want to display 5 subjects marks, and display printf s of I dot marks of j, and display it in a particular format. So printf marks of subject. Now you can see here j plus 1 means marks of subject 1, 2, 3 and so on. It would be displayed. Printf s of I dot marks of j, and after that we'll display the total and percentage, which will be outside the inner for loop. So printf total s of I dot total and printf percentage s of I dot percentage. So since we are using member as a structures, we'll be here requiring two for loops. One for loop would be for structure variable array and another would be for member, marks member array. So this was how we were using structures and arrays together. Now the next topic is structures and functions. We have seen working with structures and arrays. Now we'll see how to work with structures and functions. We all know that in functions we have two important parts, that is the return type and the argument. So here what we are going to do is we'll use structure as an argument also and structure as an return type to a function. So let's understand this with a simple program. I have a structure student in which my member is A, which is of integer data type. So this is simple structure declaration. Now I'll make a function. The name of my function is update, and inside update my argument is also a structure and my return type is also a structure. So how you are going to write down argument as a structure? Struct student. Struct is the keyword, student is the tag name. Now declare the variable name also. Structure variable name is here is x. This update function is also going to return a structure. So the return type would be struct student. So update is a function. The member is also a structure and the return type is also a structure. Now x is a structure variable. Using x, I'll access the member A. So x dot A, and whatever value I'll get, I'll increment it using increment operator. So x dot A plus plus. Now I want to return this structure back to the calling program. So return and simply write down x. Don't write down x dot A. Only if you're returning integer, then you write down x dot A. But since we are returning a structure from this particular function, so with return, simply write down the name of the structure variable, that is. Okay, so here up to this point, what we have done is we have declared a structure, we have made a function, and in function we are passing structure as an argument and structure is a return type. Now what we'll do is we'll make a main function in which we are going to call this function update. How we'll do that? Void main. First I'm creating a structure student S. Okay, you can see here in my program, in my complete program there are two structure variable. One is x, another is s. X is a local variable of update function and s is a local variable of main function. Now using this s structure variable, I'll initialize the member A. So s dot A is equal to 5 and I'll display the value of A. So A before update. So I'll get 5 as my result here. Now what I'll do is I'll pass this as inside the function update bracket s. And this update is again going to return me the structure. So I'll again overwrite it with s inside the structure variable s. So s is equal to update bracket s. Since update has argument also a structure and return type also a structure. So this is the way you are going to call the update function when you are dealing with structures. Now after then you'll get the updated value of a simply printf using s dot a. So when you'll execute this particular program, a before update initially will have 5. Then you are calling update function. So the value is incremented by 1, that is it becomes 6. And we are returning the value structure also. So the new value would be stored in s variable. After calling, if we'll display the value of a, we'll get it 6. Using structures and functions, you can update the member variables inside a different function. That's all for today. Goodbye. Thank you.